All right, wives, moms, there are several questions that you have that you don't need to ask your husbands about. It's about like an activity for the kids. Just sign them up. I don't care. Whenever it is, however much it costs, like I'll do it.
You actually just made a video asking your wife to make you less involved in your family and then posted it on the internet. You admit that you're not an equal parent if you can ask your partner to leave you out of the decision making, and you're probably not a very good one if you would want to. I'm sure your wife genuinely cares, but she wouldn't have the choice to ask you to leave her out of it even if she didn't. You can ask her to leave you out of it because you know she'll do it, but if she doesn't do it, then it just won't get done. And I actually think this man probably told himself that he was doing something nice by telling his wife to just do whatever she wants. But your wife doesn't want you to just agree to everything. She wants you to actually care enough to have an opinion. And if he does think that this was just him doing something nice, then that tells me that he probably doesn't listen to his wife at all. She wants a partner. She wants someone who she can rely on to bounce ideas off of, and she wants you to be concerned enough about your own children to have input on what they do. And when you tell her to leave you out of it, you're not saying that because you want to make her life easier. You're saying that because you don't want to deal with it and you feel like you can't be bothered. You brought up money because you're fine paying for it. You just don't want any of the mental load associated with it. And I think you feel like you can absolve yourself of any guilt because you're paying for it. And you say you don't care, but you suddenly do care once you're asked to participate in it. You start yelling and then say she never told you when you're now expected to have your son at basketball by 4 because your wife has to have your daughter at cheerleading at 4:15 and she can't be in 2 places at once. Having children doesn't make you a parent. Parenting makes you a parent. How are you not equally as interested in what your children are doing? And don't you feel embarrassed when someone asks you what sports your kids are playing and you don't even know the answer? And trust me, your child knows when one of their parents doesn't want to be bothered with the things that matter to them. And you don't want your child to feel like you're only involved when you have to be. Your kids love you because you're their parent, so don't let them catch you asking to be a less involved version of one. But there's an even bigger problem here that you might be missing, because this is the beginning of the end for a relationship. If you consistently ask your wife to live her life without you, then she's just going to learn how to live her life alone. You want your wife to talk to you less and ask you less questions, and then you can't figure out why she doesn't want to have sex after you're the one who created the environment that makes the two of you feel like strangers. Men talk about being providers and protectors until you ask them to provide an opinion about their children or to protect their wife's feelings. Picking up the slack for someone can always be frustrating, but it's even more frustrating when that person is only slacking because they don't care. So many moms struggle with feelings of guilt because they feel like they're never doing enough. They're trying to be everywhere at everything all the time, regardless of how tired they are. So can you imagine how strange it must be to hear you ask to be involved in less? We're trying to figure out how to do it all, and you're trying to figure out how to do less. So don't be surprised if your marriage changes if you continue to ask her to leave you out of things. Because it's bad enough when your wife feels all alone, but it's even worse when you confirm that it's true.